Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So in this video, we are going to discuss the various type of tokens, access tokens, ID tokens, refresh token, JWT claims. So before I even start, this is one video that will be purely cross framework, cross language and cross framework. What I mean is this content applies to Spring Boot, to Java, .NET, C Sharp, Node.js, Python, no matter what, Go, whatever application shell script you develop a secure application using OAuth to an OIDC, this thing actually applies to all of them. So let's go start a little bit. And then first thing we would discuss is the tree structure of a JWT or JSON Web Token. If you look at a encode full JWT, you will notice that there are two dots. Before the first dot, the text that appears from the very beginning till the first dot is called the header. The header actually specifies the algorithm that is used in the signature that is in the header. After the dot, the actual payload, the actual access token, we will discuss the payload a little bit after. That is the middle part, the payload. And after the payload, there is another dot. And after that dot, there is the JWT signature comes on. As we covered in the digital signature coming as the last part of JWT is a verification that the payload has not been modified. One clear distinction I would make here that is written also here, encoding is not encryption. JWTs are normally, for the sake of speed, is just encoded in base64, not encrypted for most use cases, because you can verify, you can take a encoded JWT code to a site called jwt.io, paste it on the left panel and have the JWT decoded value on the right. So that's proves it that it is not encoded. It is not, sorry, encrypted. What is the advantage? As long as you can prove that through the digital signature that the payload is not modified, that's all you need. Okay. So let's see that we covered the three-part structure, the header, then a dot, then the payload, then another dot, then the signature. Let's see, keep going. Access token, there are three tokens that we will talk about. The first is the access token. This is coming out of OAuth 2 and open authorization. This is all about authorization. So if you are a client, if you're a client application, maybe Postman, maybe Sanskrit, maybe something else, one Spring Boot calling another Spring Boot API, all you need is to obtain access token and present the access token to the REST API that you're calling. And if the access token is authorized, you are just going to get access, right? That's what the access token is. It's called a bearer token, like a bearer check. And how it is to be said, the header is authorization, a capital colon, then the bearer literal string, then a space, then the actual token value. Usually short-lived, like typical values are 5 minutes to a few hours, not more than that. ID token is coming out of OIDC, OpenID Connect. It deals with user authentication. It carries the username, first name, last name, address, email, contact details, all that. Is it sent to server business APIs? No. It deals with, if you can look at any website showing a profile icon, your information, that's what the ID token is for. The refresh token is a special token. Access token is short-lived. And we do not want, after the access token expires, we do not want the human user to log in again. So we also issue a refresh token, which is longer lived. And the client can go to the authorization server with the refresh token. When the access token expires, present the refresh token within its validity, which is 7 days to 30 days, and get another short-lived access token. That's the purpose of the refresh token. Never present it to a business API. It is not going to honor it. Refresh tokens are for authorizations. Okay, let's keep going. And we will decode, understand. This is a sample access token, and these are the claims. EXP stands for expiry. If you copy this, go to Google or go to our ChatGPT, paste it, you will get the exact timestamp. IAT is issued at what time it was issued by the server. Auth time is when the customer actually tried to get this token. JDI is a unique value. You can see the UUID value. ISS is issuer. This is the key cloak rel. Issuer, it could be Okta, it could be key cloak, it could be Microsoft tenant. Also ID issuer is the rel tenant. Okay. Audience is an array. And then it is meaning that this token is meant for the customer API or the account management API. That's it. Sub is the user ID value, subject or short form sub. Type is bearer. We talked about bearer token. Authorized party, this is the client ID. This token is authorized for Spring Security Training Web. That is the client ID. SID is a unique ID again. ACR tells us strength of the authentication. ACR 1 means multi-factor authentication was involved. This is account context classification or something. And then scope is what the client requested to receive back. OpenID is OpenID claims, first name, last name, all that. Profile is also related to OpenID. And email will get you the email related data, and roles, you will get the roles from the server. Okay. And the email verified is a Boolean, whether this account email is verified or not. This is true. And the name, preferred username, this is just a machine usable claim that the machines are going to use. Given name, first name, family name, the last name, email, realm access. So these are the realm roles. How many roles is an user and admin? And then this one is a client role. Client roles looks a little different than the realm roles. We can say that this token will be able to read customers and write customers. Excuse me. And then the account, it will be able to manage account and fill profile. Then let's see what is the client credential. This is already 8 minutes. I believe I would rather make another video of this, and then we will go from there. So there's a lot to cover in this series, and if you like it, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, have a great day.